Can we do a thing where we walk downstairs?
Come on, back up.
Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Club. And this week we went to go and see Mr. Turner, as in the film, not a friend of ours. Timothy Spall playing some sort of famous artist with a series of grunts and cogity facial expressions. I don't even know if cogity is a word, but if it isn't, I just made it up. It means
Well done,
this.
you. It focuses on the last 25 years of his life and career. Just after his father dies, his relationship with Mrs. Booth, and they say the latter period of his landscapes, and towards the end of his career when his art started to fall out of favour. I thought it was a really beautiful looking film. I think it's really interesting seeing Mike Leigh, who's known for a lot of his more sort of gritty social dramas, being given the sort of the time and money and budget to do something on this scale, working with long-time collaborator and cinematographer whose name escapes me, but the work they did on this film, it looked absolutely beautiful.
Good job, long-time collaborator and cinematographer whose name escapes us.
Yes, well done you. And I think they taken a lot of inspiration from all of Turner's work and managed to do a fantastic job of putting that up on the screen, infusing the world of the film with that sort of beauty. Timothy Spall was excellent in the film. I thought he...
Cogity.
Really...
No, what did I say?
Curmudgeonly. Well, I don't know what word, but such a curmudgeonly character. I have no idea of Turner. I said no idea Turner. I don't know very much about the man himself, or I knew very little about the man himself going into the film, so I kind of had no idea what to expect in a lot of ways. But no, I thought he did a fantastic job as the sort of curmudgeonly yet visceral painter, sort of animalistic
grunting,
yet sort of
almost
delicate.
porcine. Which, being rotund sometimes helps in that sort of a characterisation. I won't pretend to be any kind of expert. In fact, I'm the complete opposite. But I wasn't sure what to get. I thought, oh God, is this just going to be like really boring about art and I'm not going to understand it and I'm going to feel like an idiot? But in the way that the art world sometimes can make lay people feel like idiots. But actually, it was a really accessible film, possibly because Mike Leigh was directing it. He focused a lot on interactions that Turner has with people and how that inspired his painting. I would agree that the cinematography is lovely. And actually, now that I've seen some of Turner's paintings through the film,
there's an exhibition on.
Let's go.
There is an exhibition at the Tate Modern, not the Tate Modern, Tate Britain, of this period the film covers.
It's really it's I like that sort of painting. I like the landscapes. As I say, I'm no expert, but I do like a good Monet. I don't know how they managed to capture so many sunsets. I mean, how do you know if a sunset's going to be a good sunset?
You spend a lot of time, a lot of evenings, a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights waiting and hoping, I guess.
You said Timothy Spall was excellent. I actually think, yes, he was, but also the person who stood out the most for me was the woman who plays his housekeeper. There was a lot of complex stuff going on with her character, to how heartbroken she is when she finds out about this double life he's been leading and not telling her. It's just really, really sad. It could be quite easy for her character to come across as quite unsympathetic. She's not very attractive. She's got this terrible skin disease. She's hunched over, and she's not actually very good at her job. She's, even right from the beginning, she's he gives her some laundry in the first scene. She's just she's always scuttling around. You could think, oh God, what a wretch. But actually she's, you feel really sorry for her, and I thought she did that really well. It was very episodic, almost.
Well, no, that was
structure of
the whole
story,
thing,
wasn't
was,
it?
Yeah,
It was there was kind of
it was little,
his life at
almost,
home, his life in the art world and how he is there, his life with Mrs. Booth. It was kind of...
It kind of felt similar in the way to how Boyhood was almost structured this year, where because it was, as a film covering 25 years, this kind of felt like lots of little 5 to 10 minute almost little shorts, stories or vignettes in of itself, and weaving together from moment to moment, year to year.
And none of the worlds seemed to bleed into the other. Do you know what I mean? It was there. He sort of boxed them off quite. I don't know if that was deliberate, but Turner just seemed to have kind of, well, this is my life here, this is me in this world, and this is what I do here. And it was just kind of, he didn't really try and cross them over. There were lots of things that I liked about the film, and I did enjoy it, even though it's very long. It's 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Well, I think the kind of episodic nature of it and the way it kind of helped ease your way through that length.
I still came away feeling like I was missing something. I don't know what I was expecting, whether I was expecting a grander story or there to be something more out of his life that was going to be interesting to tell. It just felt like it was a really unextraordinary story for a life story.
I think that potentially was kind of the point in a way. I don't think Mike Leigh wanted to tell a particularly traditional big sort of biopic film. It was just all these moments and all these different sides to this man. As I say, not his life in the art world, his life with Mrs. Booth, his relationships with kind of, let's say, his father at the beginning and his maid, and his relationship with the art establishment.
But I almost felt like, well, what was the point in doing that story about Mr. Turner? It could have been done about any old chap in that time or any old chap at any time. Like, I know what you mean about it feeling similar to Boyhood, but the reason why I think Boyhood is amazing is it could be about anyone and it's not trying to be about anyone. Why choose to do a film about one particular famous person's life if there's nothing that exciting in their life to tell that's any different from anyone else?
I definitely thought it was interesting seeing his world being realised and his position in that world. I mean, him as a man, him as a person, as I say, this contradictory kind of gruff, animalistic man who painted such beautiful work.
Maybe it's just me, but I just came out of it thinking, oh, I thought something more interesting might have happened. So, popcorns.
I think for me, it's a good 8 out of 10. I think it looks fantastic. Good, solid performances from Timothy Spall and the rest all around, and a film that doesn't at 2.5 hours is almost too long, but not quite.
I can't think of what you'd cut from it, because there's nothing that I was like, well, this scene is dragging. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think really great to see Mike Leigh do something on this scale as well. Really enjoyed it.
Yes. Although I do like when he does his smaller stuff as well, I have to say. So I think I would agree. So even the fact that I came out sort of slightly disappointed, I mean, the strength of the rest of it and the stuff I liked means I'd still give it an 8. It's a really good film and does lots of things very well. Maybe I just feel like I can't really mark it down too much just because I expected something that it didn't necessarily ever promise to me. And that's more my fault than the film's fault. So yeah, I thumbs up. Have you seen Mr. Turner? How do you feel about art? Do you know who Turner is? If you have anything to say about Mr. Turner and who he was and whether we're right or wrong, let us know in the comments and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Next week we are off to see Interstellar, which stars Matthew McConaughey.
It does, yes.
My favourite. Love a bit of...
How could you forget?
Yeah, love a bit of that. And Christopher Nolan. And so if you don't want to miss that video, you should click on the little button that says subscribe, because that's the way you get notified and don't miss anything. And yes, so we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. We're off to see Jake Gyllenhaal in Interstellar.
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because Jake Gyllenhaal is not in Interstellar.
What's Interstellar then? What's the one he's in? Oh, Nightcrawler. So next week we're off to see Interstellar.
Mm-hmm. Who's in that then?
Not Jake Gyllenhaal.